Folks, we're going to switch gears real fast. We're bringing in Mollie Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist, Fox News contributor, and Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst and author of Trial of the Century. Mollie, you got to help me on this, okay? I am not a lawyer, but Governor Gavin Newsom is appointing Laphonza Butler to replace Dianne Feinstein as the senator from California. But Mollie, she's a resident of Maryland and a registered voter in Maryland. And we looked up the law for the Senate. You got to live in the state and you got to be a registered voter in the state. Unless I'm missing something. Help me out.
Yeah, it does look like just yesterday that this woman did register to vote in California.
Oh.
You are correct that she's a resident of Maryland. She's voting in Maryland, but perhaps to comply with that law, she registered to vote, and I think she holds some property in California. One of the problems with California's voting laws is that they are so lax. They send out, ballots to every address, every person who's ever registered to vote. They've got a real problem with election integrity in that state. But it looks like she's done what she needs to do to allow this to proceed.
Does she change her residence or just her voting registration?
Like I said, I think she has a property in California. But, you remember when Hillary Clinton ran for Senate from New York, a state that she'd never lived in. A lot of people just understand that the Senate is a place to make a lot of money, as Dianne Feinstein did, and not necessarily a place to represent your state's interests.
Gregg Jarrett, what are the qualifications for president now that we've cleared up the Senate? Who knows who can run? I mean, the Democrats pull this stuff time and time again. I never hear Republicans doing that. Maybe the Republicans do it. I never hear about that. Does this make Gavin Newsom look goofy?
Oh, it absolutely does. Look, in her own bio, Butler says she's a resident of Maryland. Oh, gee, that was just scrapped overnight. And just yesterday, she re-registered in the state of California. The problem is that qualifications is set out in the Constitution, and it says you have to be an inhabitant of the state from which you're chosen, but it doesn't define what that means or how long it is. So as Mollie pointed out, she does own property in California. She has lived there previously, so she'll probably skate by.
If you pitched a tent, on the beach in California, and then slept there for a couple of weeks.
And everybody does.
Yeah, that's what they do. Would that qualify for the Senate? Probably would.
Yeah,
well,
probably. Just go to Venice Beach. Everybody lives in a tent.
Yeah, in a tent. Sorry, Mollie. Go ahead, please.
Well, no, Gavin Newsom said before this election that he would pick someone based on their sex and race, and nobody seemed to have a super problem with how that does not seem like the best criteria on which to choose a senator from a great state. He also hit the trifecta because the candidate is black, is female, and is a lesbian. So it shows how the Democrat Party really leans into identity politics, even while there are a lot of criticisms of Democrat policies. People are very frustrated with Democrat policies, what's happening on the border, what's happening with crime, what's happening with the economy. And rather than respond to some of those criticisms by really focusing on substance, Gavin Newsom chose someone who's a political activist with no electoral track record. She's never had to stand before the voters of California or any other state. He's just proceeding.
Mollie, I was always confused, and maybe this is going to change, that one of Newsom's qualifications was that whoever he appointed would not run for the permanent seat, which would be next November. Now, are they sticking to that? I know they're going to let her live under a tent. Will they stick to this other qualification or no?
People close to the new senator said that she was not told that she could not run. But they also note that she's got close ties to law firms that are associated with Adam Schiff. He's the man who made up the lie that he had personally seen evidence that the 2016 election had been stolen by treasonous collusion with Russia. He faced no repercussions for that lie that caused so much damage. He does want to fill that Senate seat, and he does have close ties to this new candidate or to this new senator. So we'll see if that means that she understands she'll only be there for a short period of time or whether they've decided she's the one.
Wow, terrific stuff. Both of you, terrific stuff. I'm going to pitch a tent. I don't know where. I don't like to live in a tent. I have a lovely apartment in New York City. Mollie Hemingway, thank you. Gregg Jarrett, thanks ever so much.